That's good B-roll, actually. Last month I moved states, and now every dish and dirty sock is mine to grapple with.
One of the choices my group made while doing the Turning Point exercise that I really loved was to film me reading a poem that I wrote that was relevant to our 3 interviews that then emotionally contextualized what was to come.
I am the moth of my own chrysalis, and this has been a manifestation.
Hilary, Ruby and I all talked about the impact that moving to Melbourne has had on our lives. And to avoid having the documentary feel repetitive, I cut pretty frequently between the 3 interviews, which also highlighted the parallels and differences between our experiences.
I would have to say the most significant turning point in my life would be moving to Melbourne.
So I'm originally from Adelaide.
I think that by opening the documentary with me reading my poem, the project felt cohesive and the central theme was really clear from the beginning. Well-framed interviews, clear audio, and quality B-roll are all undoubtedly crucial to any documentary. But I think something I'll definitely try to incorporate in my video portrait is the subject telling their story in another, possibly more rehearsed or scripted form of expression. For example, a poem or a song or a dance. I just think it can elevate the storytelling that much more and further engage the audience.
I would have to say I've been simultaneously the most happy and the most sad.
Another creative decision we made that might not have paid off as much was the location of our shoot. While the background of the interviews and the B-roll we captured were really pretty and fitting, there was a whirring sound in all the audio that just wasn't as pleasant. Next time, I definitely would not compromise audio quality as much as we did and would find a location that delivered more equally on both fronts.
But I wouldn't change it for the world.
I loved the Michael Rabiger reading from week 10 because it touched on a lot of really useful interview practices and techniques that I hadn't really ever considered before. Like research conversations to make sure your subject has something worthwhile to say, and practicing delivering your own questions so in the moment you sound direct and natural. Some things that stood out to me in particular were the methods Rabiger uses to make the interviewee feel more comfortable, which would then in theory elicit more detailed and emotional responses. He mentioned how the setting and the person conducting the interview were really crucial to this, which to me felt already pretty evident. But something I hadn't considered as much were the order of the questions asked. Rabiger says to ask questions that demand facts first, and then once the interviewee feels more comfortable, prompt for their feelings on the subject. He also reminds us that we don't need to necessarily edit the project together in the order it was shot, and that we could consider opening the documentary with one of the later, more emotionally intense responses, which could then contextualize the more factual ones. I also really appreciated Rabiger's advice on not being afraid to take authority as the interviewer, including politely interrupting to steer the conversation in a particular direction, or asking the interviewee to rephrase or condense their response. Rabiger says that besides this producing a high-quality product, it also makes the interviewee feel a lot more secure, so I'll definitely be adopting this advice when I do my own video portrait.